Now bunny ears above his
Okay. So, we were talking, some of my friends, musician friends, about all these tribute bands and cover bands and all this, and you know, we've done a lot. We've been with major acts, and we've played all the venues, and big, small, whatever, all across the world actually. And to do something different, we really didn't want to be a tribute band, or we didn't want to be a you know, a cover band. We're not going to do that. But what we were talking about doing is, if we got together with all these guys from different bands that actually recorded these songs, made hits, huge hits. Our band is responsible for about 30 million records and combined. And so what we wanted to do was, why not feature all these songs that we actually played on? I respect the tribute bands because they're very good, but they didn't record those songs. They're just playing those songs. We actually recorded those songs. And what we wanted to do was look at our guys and look at our set list, and it's pretty impressive when you look at between, you know, Eagles, Joe Walsh, Crosby, Stills, Nash, Neil Young, Glenn Frey, Gary Wright, Joe Cocker, Rod Stewart, the Faces, all these people that we've played with and recorded with. So the set list is incredible, and it's nothing but hits. Actually, really, it's nothing but hits. And and we've had a few rehearsals, and we're so excited because it sounds pretty good. That was actually difficult. What the heck are we gonna call this thing? And at first we were gonna be this or that and the other. Then we did research, and now we can't use that. Somebody else does that. All of a sudden, it was Dwayne, I think.
The way it worked is this: I started with the word vinyl, and then
Yeah.
he came up with the word machine.
We of course, you know, attached ourselves to vinyl because we made all these vinyl records for years, and then there were other vinyl this, vinyl that, and nothing really clicked. And then one kind of did, but we discovered that there's a lot of bands called that. So we finally, then Dwayne said vinyl machine, and we go, wow, that's pretty cool. And then he did the research and found out that nobody is that, so we grabbed it and owned it right
like
away.
that. I was brought in for the vinyl machine as kind of the utility guy. I have played with Crosby, Stills and Nash and Joe Walsh and Stephen Stills Blues Band over the years, and so I've done work with my dad in the past in that kind of level, and this was on a really unique concept for a band. I'm like, well, I definitely would love to be part of that. And so Dad brought me, he goes, do you want to do this and this? So what I do in the band is I'm playing like guitar, I'm doing vocals, I'm playing some synth, and also playing percussion. So singing. Yeah. So I'm basically my station.
Busy.
Yeah, I have the busiest station on the stage because I'm covering all these additional parts. But it's a lot of fun because they're all very important parts, and to be part of this group and such amazing talent in it is really an honor. And I'm excited just to be also playing with Dad because I've played with him with Walsh and CSN and also Stephen Stills. But like this is a whole different thing, getting to play like all the other songs that he's recorded with in one show. It's really a neat experience. It's a lot of fun. I'm just really excited. We've been at this for a while, putting this together, and just really excited for this first show.
Especially picked a smaller venue because we want to test run it. It's like, you know, I remember reading a few years back when the Stones, and I'm not comparing us to the Stones, but when the Stones did this major tour, their first gig was a little club in Toronto, Canada. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I thought, wow, what a great idea. You get to play in front of people, but you don't have to go way out on a limb and book like an arena or something like. Not that we could sell that, but I'm just saying.
Yet.
Not yet. But we figured, you know what, a small venue, intimate place, and a lot of fans and friends, you know, and it'll be just a fun. There's also an additional thing that's really going to be great is we've all got really cool stories from the you know, being fly. You could be a fly on the wall in the studio or backstage or on a bus and all that, like in what's in my book, Backstage Pass, but to tell these stories a lot of people are doing that now. They're doing, music and stories, and the audience really enjoy that. So I think this will be quite a few interesting stories, I guarantee you.
One of my personal favorite things to do after a show is a lot of times, and I was out in Arizona a few years ago and we did this, is after the gig we were all sitting around kind of having dinner and just really spent about like 2 hours just telling hilarious stories from the groups we work with. And that's kind of how that's how it started with him to do his book. And I'm like, we have to make this part of the show, because that's what makes it so much fun, because it is a family. Anytime you're in a band, it really is a family. And there are countless stories.
There's some funny stuff. I just finished a week with Joe Walsh up at the Stephen Colbert Show. We did a week in New York, and that was fun. And that one night is going to air pretty soon. It's a featured song that we did, Rocky Mountain Way, of course. That's coming up on the Stephen Colbert Show. And then November 13th, I'm playing with Joe Walsh for his annual Vets Aid show he does every year for the veterans. And it's at in a big arena, nationwide arena in Columbus. And we sold it out in a half hour. And it's this year, because it's in Columbus, Ohio. It's an all Ohio personalities. Like we get. I'm going to play with Joe, but then he's got the James Gang playing, and 9 Inch Nails, and he's got Black Keys, and
Dave
Grohl is on it, and from the Foo Fighters. And anyway, it's going to be a fantastic show. He does it every year. Last year he had to do it virtually with just streaming only because of COVID, but now things have opened up, so we're going to do it this big arena in Columbus, November 13th, and there is going to be streaming also. It's sold out, but there is streaming for it, so that's what's coming up. And then I don't know what's going to happen next year. Hopefully a bunch of Vinyl Machine shows, and we'll see what happens.